Hey guys, CalebBake01 back again with another random horror review. Today I believe is episode 8 if I remember correctly. And for today's review I decided to put on a movie that I've seen once before. It's still a pretty recent movie, so from 2017, which is 5 years ago now, so sort of getting on but still relatively recent. Killer Shark movie, Shark Attack movie, Cage Dive. If this movie doesn't ring a bell, you also might know it by Open Water 3. I'm not sure if it's just called Cage Dive where I'm from, but I also know that this is the third open water movie, so you might know it by that, but anyway, that's this movie. We'll quickly get into the plot. So basically, we have these two brothers, or half-brothers, or something like that, and one of the brothers' girlfriends. There are 3 leads for this film, and they are making an audition tape for this like extreme game show, something I guess along the lines of like The Amazing Race or something like that. And for their audition tape, they are going to do a cage dive, which is, I'm sure everyone knows what a cage dive is. It's like when you go in this steel cage off this boat, they hang you in the water, and they chuck chum and fish in the water and all that, so sharks swarm around you. They do one of those, and a freak wave comes, and from there they're just stranded in the ocean, and the rest of the movie is them, counting down the time, trying to find a way to survive and be saved and rescued from, obviously, being attacked by sharks, and I guess just the elements of the ocean as well. Pretty straightforward. This movie is done in a found footage / mockumentary style, so it has interviews weaved through the movie, while also everyone knows what found footage is. And this movie doesn't run very long. It's only an hour and 17 minutes, so a 77-minute runtime. But unfortunately, this movie really drags on, and it's sort of a pain to get through. So we'll get to that quickly. This movie doesn't give a lot of anything new. It doesn't really have a lot of substance and stuff that we haven't seen before. We get plenty of Shark Attack movies. Even if they're not mainstream ones, we get about at least 3 a year that people will most likely know. And with having so many, we've seen ones where cage dives are involved. We've seen found footage ones, and this one, unfortunately, it's just in the rut of not having anything new to show us or give us. It's very formulaic. It tries to add elements in there to break it up. It's sort of a spoiler, but it has a love triangle thrown in between the 2 half-brothers and the girlfriend. As I said, it switches between mockumentary and found footage throughout the movie, which it's smart because you can't just watch an hour of people sitting in the ocean waiting for something to happen. So it switches between these interviews throughout the movie, but even that doesn't save it. It's just very generic and boring, and I think this is going to be the first time I say it on my channel, but it's not going to be the last. I definitely know that. The worst thing a movie can be is boring. A movie can be bad. It can be a bad movie, but at least you're being entertained. At least you're being engaged. Yes, it's not a fucking pinnacle of movie making, but you're having a good time. When a movie is boring, you're not engaged. You have trouble sitting through it. And as I said, with such a short runtime, it should be a breeze to sit through, but this one is such a pain. I hate saying it, it's just very generic, and it doesn't give you anything else to, think about or stay invested for. The characters aren't overly likable, there's nothing really wrong with them. The acting's not bad, it's just, the characters are very two-dimensional. There's not much to enjoy there. One thing that is really good about this movie is how the sharks look. I believe it's like real footage of sharks, but it's just edited in. Obviously, you don't have great whites swimming between these actors' legs and, picking them off, but the sharks and the attacks and the kills look really good. But, you know, that's just me nitpicking, because this movie is extremely weak, and it's hard to do a review on a movie like this because it's so short and there's nothing really memorable about it. You know, it's a shame because, as I said, with a killer shark movie, you can have so much fun with these. You can go a bit goofy, just as long as you're entertained. But this one, even with a 77-minute runtime, it's boring. You're sitting there and you're thinking, when is this gonna end? You know, as much as they can try and switch things up with a cage dive, as I said, cage dive elements are getting inserted into killer shark movies more and more nowadays. I think the best example for one that does it pretty well is like 47 Meters Down, or at least that's the most popular example for it. You know, you get plenty of found footage films nowadays just because they are so much more easier to make, and you see them with even shark attack movies again. So this movie doesn't really give much else to offer, which is a real shame, and it's a hard one to sit through. So we'll quickly get to my rating now of Cage Dive. As I said, there's a lot of negatives here. Even though they try and, you know, break up, like, I can imagine without the switching between the mockumentary and found footage style, I can imagine how slow and painful this movie would be to get through. But even when they do that and they break it up between these two styles, it still is really repetitive and slow and boring and really tedious at times. One thing I did like with the mockumentary style is this movie's set in Australia, and they use like our main news channel in this, and they use like an actual anchor, and I think that's always cool when you notice something from your real life in movies. I thought that was kind of cool. But yeah, once again, that's just me being nitpicky, like what I said with the sharks. The sharks are good. Yeah, I like seeing something from my real life in a movie, but this movie is just, it's extremely boring, and it doesn't give us anything refreshing. So with that being said, nothing can really save you from this movie being just really slow and tedious. I'm going to give Cage Dive, or if you know it better by the other title, Open Water 3, I am going to give it a 2.5 out of 10. I believe that's the lowest rating I've given a movie so far on my channel. Yeah, there are some really bad killer shark movies out there. But a lot of them are so bad they're good. This just isn't one. It's just slow. It's boring. I've said it 100 times. I think this, even though I'm being really repetitive in this review, I think this review is probably going to be better than this movie. It's just a negative, and yeah, I would personally recommend avoiding it, but it's up to you. Cage Dive from 2017. Yeah, so the first time I've really sort of panned and bashed a movie on my review channel. But yeah, as I said, it's definitely, there are a lot better killer shark movies out there. Whether you want to take them a little bit more serious, like movies like a classic like Jaws, or even a more modern one, The Shallows, and then there's other ones that you can have more fun with, like Jersey Shore Shark Attack or something like that, you know. But this one doesn't fall into either of those categories. It's just slow, it's just boring, and yeah, that's why I had to give it a 2.5. So anyway, thank you guys for watching, even though it was more of a negative review today, but I'm appreciating everyone that's coming back to watch my videos, and I'll see you guys again very soon. Peace.